Okay. Well, obviously coming off a disappointing loss for us, and looking forward to getting back to work and playing the type of football we played in the first 6 weeks. Hasn't shown the past couple weeks, and certainly our guys are eager to get back to that. Obviously, we're committed to working hard and getting there, and that's what our focus has been on. So that being said, we'll take questions.
Right here, Jerry. Second row.
Yeah, Coach, about the offensive line, Stanford, Cal, Washington, success. The only difference I see is Penei Sewell not playing. Washington State, Arizona. Was it their scheme, or are they quicker? Or what do you attribute to? And I wouldn't think Penei Sewell would be that much a difference since you have experienced guys replacing him.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a big factor. Obviously, he's a good football player, but it's not an excuse for not producing or performing up to our standard. I think we know that. At the same time, I think you know me well enough where I'm never going to come up here point a finger at a player or whatnot. We take it as coaches and players together. So we have to do a better job teaching and scheming and applying the fundamentals that we believe in to get a better result, and which will in turn into a better performance as well. Had people stacked the box a little bit? Have they moved on us a bunch? They have. That's part of it. But we've also had that in the first 6 weeks as well and blocked it pretty well. So we have to continue to work and continue to make the adjustments. Maybe play a few more guys as well. But overall, you got to stick with your guys and believe in the fact that we could get back to the level that we were playing at just 14 days ago. I think that's important. No, it was not. I don't think so. I think when a team does a good job against you, you got to give them credit where credit is due. I also believe that due to the nature of the flow of the game, it turned into more of a passing game due to the score. So it took away from us being and sticking with the run. So it ended up being a different type of ball game than we're used to.
Right here from middle, James.
Mario, you mentioned a lot about first and second downs as well, particularly in the first half. Mm-hmm. First 7 weeks, you were averaging, I believe, right around 9 first down throws. You had 7 in the first half this past week. Was there something they were doing schematically? Was that the plan all along? Were they stacking the box too much? Because when we get back to getting away from identity of being run first on first down, that seems to be an indicator that something has changed here.
They did stack the box. They had the safety sitting in there. They played some of the cover one stuff where we felt we had some good matchups. And we've been a pretty balanced offense, slightly more run than pass overall, but over the past couple of weeks, we've gone away from what we have been. Obviously, that's no secret. We haven't performed to the level that we're used to or gotten used to in the first 6 weeks. So, and a good part of it was trying to take advantage of what we felt we saw in the defense. So hopefully that answers your question. That's what we're trying to do.
Ryan.
Mario, obviously, UCLA's coach is Chip Kelly. He used to be here. I was just wondering, do you remember his Oregon days, and can you kind of describe the impact his offense here had on college football and what you've seen from his first UCLA team?
In terms of being that I was on the East Coast, hard to, really fix in and kind of know exactly what went on, what not. Obviously did a great job in his career in terms of, that's about all I can say in terms of his time here. In terms of UCLA, they're doing a real good job, every single week, just getting better and better. They've got a lot of talent on that team, and they've got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. And, they've shown it in spurts. So a lot of respect for that team. We know it's a team that we have to be completely prepared for to have success against them on Saturday. And looking forward to them coming over here to Autzen.
Month of September, Justin Herbert was 7th in the country in quarterback rating, tops in the Pac-12. The month of October, it was statistically his worst month of his career. He's 99th in quarterback rating. What's changed? I guess I'm not trying to blame him for the losses, but what's changed with his ability to throw the ball and you guys' passing attack?
Yeah, we got to coach it better. We got to play better. It's a combination of things. I think it's something that we've said, and I know we're revisiting today. I respect it, but the pass is tied into the run. You've got to run the football to be able to have balance and create opportunities for the passing game. So it is not. This doesn't fall on the shoulders of solely Justin Herbert or the wide receivers. All of us have a share in this. The offensive line, the running backs, the whole offense, and first and foremost, the coaches. We got to do a better job. But I hate to give you plain answers like that, but I think every single time it's a question about something that's not going like we want it to, I'm always going to say that because that's what it comes down to. I do want to point out that for the first 6 weeks, we were first in almost every offensive statistic in every category. So we've been there. We know how to do it, and we've got to regain the confidence and regain the composure and poise to play at that level because we know what it looks like. We've done it, and we've got to scratch and claw and fight to get back to that level. And it starts by having great relationships with your players, establishing more and more trust. The workload it's not ever a question. The work has been done. We work hard. We get after it. But we've got to restore the execution, the perfection that goes with having a very explosive and successful offense.
Front right, Austin.
Mario, it's looked like outside of Dylan Mitchell that your receivers have had trouble getting separation. Would you agree with that? And is that something you can address with scheme, or is it just execution?
Oh, we've got a young receiver core. I think sometimes teams have done a good job of making it difficult, playing a lot of man coverage. They've mixed up some of the looks. Some of them are getting better. They're working at it. And some of them have had some really good success, and some are still working at it. But I wouldn't point to them as having poor play or whatnot. I think that what we know is the Pac-12 conference has some really good football players. And you've got to be able to both throw the ball and run the ball to be successful. And in losing that balance, the effect kind of exponentially, gets bigger. And so I think it still starts with running the football better to be able to create looser coverages so that our receivers can get open more cleanly.
Anyone on the left, Derek?
You guys had so much success early on this season, 5 out of 6 wins to start. I'm curious, what's the psyche of your guys been like after consecutive tough weeks?
Yeah, well, that's the first thing we wanted to get to the bottom of yesterday. And I think we did. I think we all know. The highlight was, look, man, we're 14 days removed from playing some of our best football. And we've worked just as hard. Our regimen and our processes have remained intact. The attention to detail has to increase, has to get better. That's something that I feel, anytime you take a dip in performance, attention to detail has to be the first thing you address and take a look at, assess, and to see how it could be done better. And take accountability and responsibility, everyone in the organization. Zero pointing fingers, just get at it, but get at it responsibly and intelligently. It's not just blind work. It's not just go grind. Certain things have to improve, and those things have been assessed. They have been addressed, and practice is structured to be able to improve at those particular areas. So, and that's the route that we're going to go. That's the only way we know. And I think our guys understand also is, look, we've got 8 seniors on this team. We got a young football team. And when you hit, adversity like this, especially when a good brunt of it is self-induced, you've got to buckle down, and you've got to really set your focus on the things that we must get better at. There's no magic solution or potion or whatnot. It requires really, really getting ingrained into what you have to do and get better.
Mario, I can appreciate the game within a game, the math and the blocking and the stacking the box and all those things, but it's not always that simple. I mean, surely, obviously you know that. I mean, you're able to run at times when you're outnumbered. Any team is at times. Sometimes they're able to pass when they're outnumbered in coverage. Why against 2 teams who, though they've beaten you, I know you have to be respectful about it, but a team who struggled mightily against the run before this last weekend, why was it that the run game got off either by play selection or by performance against this team?
Yeah, there's really no excuse. I can say the things that where the brunt of it falls on, the responsibility, and I'll keep saying it falls on us as coaches and players. You have to win your one-on-one matchups when a box is stacked. Regardless, we've run the ball against stacked boxes before, and you have to, just like you have to throw the ball against coverage sometimes. So, and again, that execution has to deal with the way you prepare, the way you execute and whatnot, and it was not good enough. If you want individual, like how so-and-so is matching up against so-and-so, some guys had success and some guys didn't. Sometimes you get beat at the point of attack, and sometimes you get beat on the backside, which is just as important as the front side. But we've implemented zone schemes, gap schemes, inside zone, outside zone, tight end side runs, open side runs, split and runs, all this stuff and more. and we got out of sync. We got out of sync. I believe that, especially the way we established ourselves early in the season, that we can and will get that back. But it starts and ends with fundamentals up front, great pad level, feet in the ground, hands inside, and we will work to reestablish that.
Back middle, Hayden.
As Ryan mentioned, this is Chip Kelly coming back to Autzen. I'm just curious, in your 2 seasons here, just from walking around or talking to donors, former Ducks, what have you learned about, the legacy that he left behind, taking this program to heights they had never been before?
I don't know. We're so ingrained in working at what we're doing in the program and reestablishing it that, I think you have to recognize, great things that were done by him and all former coaches here. How much of a dive do I take into that? I really don't have much time to do that, but I don't think you ever not recognize and be honest, right, with yourself and as it relates to any part of the history of any program. So I think it's always, you have to give it its due respect, and we do.
I know you talked a little bit about UCLA, how they're good on both sides of the ball. Can you, a little more in detail, tell me what you think the biggest threats will be this weekend, as far as like schemes and different things like that?
No, they have some good players. Obviously a little bit similar in terms of quarterback preparation. They've played 2 different guys, and both have been pretty effective, in moving the team. And I know one was a starter to start off, and there was an injury or whatnot, and then the young quarterback came in and did a heck of a job, really athletic. But UCLA always has really good players. They're in a hotbed of talent, and at the skill positions and at the tight end position, at running back. The running back is big. He's explosive. He's a downhill guy. A tight end, they're long and athletic. At wide receiver, they have all the different pieces you want for your wide receiver core. Long, athletic, can stretch the field, quick, explosive, with a lot of wiggle. And they have an offensive line that is really playing well, playing at a high level. So they're executing really well. You could see that they've come a lot the last couple of the last 3 games, that they're really building some really good momentum. And defensively, it all starts up front. They, their nose tackle is in the 380-pound range, real big guy. They tilt him. They try to take your center and knock him back. They will really stack the box, play the bare front, cover both guards at center, create some edge pressure. They try to get exotic on third down, try to put pressure on your quarterback. And they'll do a lot of what we've seen the past couple of weeks. They'll get up there and mug your wide receivers and try to disrupt the timing of your passing game. So overall, again, to me, it's just another example of a Pac-12 team. Everybody in the Pac-12 is good enough to beat anybody on any Saturday. And so we have to prepare to our best.
Left, Matt.
We've seen this season at receiver basically 4 guys of Mitchell, Schooler, Johnny, and Jalon. What's separating them from the rest of the pack of Dimitri Birch and Daywood and some of the freshmen? What are those guys needing to improve on to be able to help you with receiving?
The guys that are behind them need to improve in their consistency. I would always say that fundamentals, consistency, understanding the scheme inside and out, making the plays in practice. It's easy. It's not hard to put together a depth chart because of what you see in practice. We always tell our guys, it's you got to show it so that we can play you. It's not the other way around, right? It's not, let's play and see what you can do. It's not a tryout come game day. And so during practice, during camp, all the things that we do to try to enhance development, to try to get guys ready to play, they tell you, and you got to listen to them. And when I say listen to them, listen to the film. As crazy as that sounds, look at it. It's trying to tell you something, whether a guy's ready or not. And if a guy's ready to contribute a bunch, he's going to be on the field. He's going to be on the field. So, and again, even though a guy's not ready, you don't stop developing him. You still got to keep going forward and whatnot.
All right, Jerry.
Yeah, Coach, I don't want to belabor this, or maybe I misunderstood you. Kind of said something about a young team. But as I look at the offense, the whole offensive line's been 3 years. The receivers have all beat Arizona last year. This whole team beat Arizona last year with the same personnel. So I think that's what's disappointing to people. I'm sure you feel that way too, right? You had success last year. They're a young team, very young team on the offensive line. So could you just kind of explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, well, I never use youth as an excuse for anything. Let's make that clear, right? Okay, maybe I should have said it differently, that we don't have many seniors on our team. So maybe not a senior-laden team would have been a better choice of words, but I've never made an excuse to you or anybody about a loss, and a loss is disappointing as it is. So we did not start the game well, and we did not respond well when we got hit in the mouth. I think that's obvious, and that's an aspect of our team that I have to do a better job coaching to get a better response, because in this conference and any conference play, you're going to encounter that. You're going to counter a really, really stiff and hard shot from your opponent, especially when you're on the road. And when you do that, and when you get that, you have to counter the momentum, okay? And we have to do that. We have to train that. That's not a natural reaction. That's not something that happens just because we practice. We have to train that. It has to be a bigger point of emphasis than it has been to get the right response.
Second one on the left, Eric.
Wondering how you guys made it from a health perspective. I know you gave some preliminary stuff on Saturday, but I wonder if there's any more updates, especially with guys like Dylan Mitchell and Dallas Womack.
Yeah, well, we have a couple guys that actually both Dylan Mitchell and Justin Herbert, they're both in concussion protocol. And it's something that I don't have, anytime that the doctors choose to put someone in concussion protocol is we just leave it in the hands of them, and they let us know exactly what goes on to determine exactly if and how extensive that injury should be. Kano Dillon, we expect him hopefully to be back by Wednesday practice. He is not full speed yet. Austin Falu, we expect him back this week, hopefully by tomorrow, if not the latest Wednesday. Lana is back. Dallas Womack, he did go down with a little bit of a shoulder tweak, but he seems to be okay. All tests that were run on him were clean, and I think that sums it up right there.
James, you still on roll? Over here, right, on the right, Austin.
Mario, with Justin, was that something that happened on a particular hit in the game? Was it at the end of the game? Was it during the game? Did you determine that?
Yeah, that's always hard to tell. You never know. It might have been at the end. It looks like that might have been the point, but without, not being a doctor, I can never comment on exactly when. But anytime someone seems to have, taken on a hit, we're always going to take, the highest level standard in terms of assessing guys to make sure that safety is at the forefront, the priority. But in terms of when, hard to say.
Over here on the left, Matt.
With Justin's injury or concussion protocol, how much attention are you giving to Burmeister and Shuck in practice of first team reps? Is that something that their numbers could go up this week in preparation for worst case scenario?
It could. We wait and see, which I guess we'll inform you of anything else we receive from that standpoint. I think it's been well established. I've always been upfront and honest with you guys about all that stuff. But should the case be where it's something where they have to play right away, absolutely. Those guys will be taking a bunch of reps. And that goes for any position as well. It certainly was the case when Panay went down, when Cam McCormick went down, Austin going down. That was one that, Andrew, his younger brother, got a lot of playing time and actually played really well. So that's always something that we have as part of the plan when someone gets injured.
We got time for a couple more. Front middle, James.
First, Mario, because this is going to be hindsight 2020, but fans were already asking why Justin was in the game late on that last drive because of the score and everything else. And now with this news, they're going to revisit it. Can you explain a little bit of the strategy and decision-making there, keeping him in the game at that point because of this? I understand it's hindsight 2020. And my other question would be about UCLA's safety. He seems to be a very prolific player for his safety, tackle-wise and stuff. Can you comment on his play this season?
Sure. In terms of us and playing towards the end of the game, we were not having much offensive success, and we wanted to end the game on some type of positive note offensively. We want to be able to move the ball and to get out of there having at least some sort of confidence in moving and potentially scoring. In terms of the safety, he's a good football player, and he showed up a lot last year against us, made a lot of plays, gets downhill in the run game, makes a lot of tackles, and is excellent in pass coverage. So he's a complete football player. That certainly is someone that you must account for on every single play.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for